Hello, in this presentation I will be analysing the poem Passion by Kathleen Raine. We'll begin with a little information about the poet herself. This poem emphasises Raine's belief in the universal spirit that all humans are a part of. In this belief she was deeply influenced by William Blake, W.B. Yeats and Plato. The inspiration for this particular poem is thought to be the sorrow the poet felt when she had been forsaken by Gavin Maxwell, a Scottish naturalist and author. Heartbroken, the speaker in the poem has lost all inspiration to write. Even human speech seems to have abandoned her. Just as things appear bleak, the sky communicates in an authoritative tone to the speaker in the poem and tells her of her being at one with the universal spirit that permeates the natural world, a force far more nourishing and important than the unrequited love that is troubling her. Looking at the overall structure, the poem is composed of 8 triplets of irregular metre. There's an almost playful, regular rhyming structure, which seems at odds with the serious subject matter, but perhaps the poet is attempting to trivialize the personal anguish of the speaker in the context of the sense of unity offered by the universal spirit. The passion of the title might be closer to the meaning of the Greek origin of the word, which means to suffer, generally used in English in the sense of a spiritual transcendence of mortal suffering, such as in the Passion of Christ. Let's take a closer look at the poem. Full of desire I lay, the sky wounding me, each cloud a ship without me sailing, each tree possessing what my soul lacked, tranquility. So the inverted sentence structure on the first line here gives prominence to the speaker's emotional state. It's not I lay full of desire, but full of desire I lay. And so we can tell that emotion is going to be at the forefront of this poem. Here we have personification. The sky wounds the speaker with its connotations of freedom and serenity, providing such a contrast to the emotional pain that she feels she is suffering. There's almost a jealousy of the trees having attained a state of spiritual peace that the speaker yearns for. The metaphor of each cloud being a ship extends this idea of freedom of the skies. The clouds are sailing off, leaving her stranded on the earth and in her state of emotional desolation. Waiting for the longed-for voice to speak. Through the mute telephone my body grew weak. With the well-known and mortal death heartbreak. So the longed-for voice is a hyphenated adjective which makes the speaker's predicament clear. They're missing a loved one. The personification of telephone as a mute telephone emphasizes the fact that the object of the speaker's affection is not communicating or contacting her. The speaker, in pining for a loved one, suffers physically as well as emotionally. My body grew weak. And also we have a slant rhyme, speak, weak, heartbreak, which draws our attention to the broken nature of her heart. The rhyme is broken, as her heart is. Now, is the poet suggesting, with this weakened body, the sense of heartbreak, that the speaker of the poem is genuinely close to death due to this heartbreak? Or do we read into this an ironic or self-deprecating tone? The language I knew best, my human speech, forsook my fingers and out of reach were homeless ghosts, the savage conches of the beach. So some fairly complicated imagery here, and the tone of the poem is changing slightly. So the fact that human speech forsook my fingers is an interesting sort of almost tactile image, that one trying to actually catch the speech as it escapes. She's so distraught that she's unable to articulate her feelings. The alliteration draws our attention to this. The speaker is fumbling almost physically and losing her grasp on language, as if it was a material object that she's dropped or eludes her grasp. And this might suggest that she's also unable to express herself in writing. This reference to homeless ghosts and conches of the beach is quite complicated. The speaker seems to lament that language can't convey her emotional state. In fact, she feels so far removed from life that she cannot even emulate the prevailing gibbering and whining of homeless ghosts in the Iliad, though they had been immortalized in literature. The reference to conches brings to mind the symbol of Triton, Greek god, who could create such a sound as to calm or raise the waves, put giants to flight in fear by using the conch as a trumpet. Maybe the case is the speaker wishes that her command of language was sufficient to similarly control or banish her despair, or at the very least communicate it in some effective way. Then the sky spoke to me in language clear, familiar as the heart and love more near. The sky said to my soul, you have what you desire. So the voice of the sky described here with a simile is so familiar because it speaks of a unity with the rest of creation. It speaks directly to the soul, and the personification here of the sky represents a human spirit, universal spirit, that communicates to the speaker. This break in the rhyme again, clear, near, desire, makes the spiritual voice seem unequivocal in its assertion that the speaker is actually not lacking for anything. Know now that you are born along with these, clouds, winds, and stars, and ever-moving seas, and forest dwellers. This your nature is. So we've got the use of imperative here, again reinforcing the authority of the voice of the universal spirit. Know now, there's no discussion or choice in not knowing. And the inverted sentence again underlines the certainty of the message being delivered. This your nature is. This is what you are. And it seems again quite unequivocal in its statement. Lift up your heart again without fear. Sleep in the tomb or breathe the living air. The world you with the flower and the tiger share. So again, we've got another positive metaphorical imperative. Lift up your heart. Again, without fear. And the universal spirit seems to present the speaker with a choice in the second line. To quote from Andy Dufresne from the film Shawshank Redemption, the voice is telling her to get busy living or get busy dying, to sleep in the tomb, to decide your life is over, or breathe the living air, to take part again in the world of the living, to feel a sense of your place in creation. And the third line here, the symbols of the flower and the tiger are representative of the fragile beauty and the awesome power of nature. Then I saw every visible substance turn into a mortal, every cell new born, burned with the holy fire of passion. So this appears to be a reference to the Day of Judgment, which is shared to some extent by all of the Abrahamic religions, and associated with a passage into immortality. The holy fire of passion, this passion from the title being a form of spiritual ecstasy, and the holy fire is a reference to the physical destruction of the earth, everything being created anew. This world I saw as on her judgment day, when the war ends and the sky rolls away, and all is light, love, and eternity. So the speaker in the poem is envisaging the situation of the heavens and earth being annihilated. This reference to war is that of a final reckoning being preceded by a catastrophic war on earth. So, all is light, love, and eternity, with our current plane of existence destroyed following judgment. The souls of all those who once lived on the earth will enter into heaven or be cast into a pit of fire. The speaker seems to be assuming she's belonging to the first group. And in light of this, her individual despair, her individual passion, when compared to the wider spiritual ecstasy of passion, fades into insignificance. Thank you very much for listening. Watch out for my other videos on the channel.